I was trapped in a corn addiction for over 14 years. I cured my corn induced ED in 1 week and have stayed off of corn for over 400 plus days cumulatively. And now I help men conquer the corn lust even faster. Now, in today's video, what you'll learn, I'm going to break down 5 core truths that help you finally conquer lust, quit the corn, cure the corn-induced dysfunctions, all of that. So let's get right into it. Number 1, sugar rewires your brain like corn does. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, right? When we talk about sugar and just vices in general, what happens is when you compromise in one area of your life, you tend to compromise in a lot of other areas. And people don't really notice that. Even if you think of something as little as a diet or the foods that you eat, let's say you eat a lot of processed foods, that actually affects your decision making and really how you interact with the world. So think about it like this, right? If the foundation of your being is really not in a positive place, you're compromising, you're eating a lot of processed foods, it's making literally your brain work worse, you're getting worse fuel. How do you think that's going to affect other decisions that you make in your life if you're trying to have some, I don't want to say willpower, but in this case, if you're trying to fix bad habits that you have, right? That's how you literally have to think about it. So how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And a lot of times from personal experience, what I've noticed is the more sugar intake, and I mean processed sugars, junk food, a lot of this other stuff, the more often that a lot of these cravings for the corn, and all of these other places come out of nowhere, it feels like. But then when you kind of change what you eat, right? And I always say lifestyle, I preach lifestyle a lot, but you change what you eat, you kind of draw things back a little bit. I guarantee that you'll tend to see a change where things are a bit more manageable, right? It's not as difficult as it once was, where you just felt like you were at a whim. And I bet a lot of you were probably addicted to sugar, eating a lot of that. So man, cut back on it, trust me. And also just dopamine levels in general, right? Because when we talk about super stimuli, you have social media, you have all these other things. So we want to decrease that as much as possible. And of course, something like this would absolutely help. So cut back. Fasting makes lust weaker. Now, this is an interesting one, right? Because a lot of people don't combine and really look at the physical when we're looking at this, right? So you have the physical, and then obviously you have, upside in your brain, the wiring that you have. And people just think that, okay, I have to go 90 days and then I'm good. That's pretty much what you've been told online. That's what a lot of the forums say. And it sounds good. It does sound good. But the interesting thing is when you incorporate and look at, right, this physical part of things, literally what you're eating, what you're choosing not to eat, things like fasting. Again, fasting is a practice that has been incorporated into a lot of different religions in ancient civilizations for a very long time. Now, a lot of people know it today. If you're not a huge health person, what it can really do is detox the body, right? But it's interesting that when you do something like fast, right, it can kind of bring you to a baseline, right? When we think of, for example, when people do dopamine fast, right, when they, stay off social media and all of these different things, the brain changes the way it works, right? And I always look at it, and from what I've seen, is that the physical is just important as the mental, right? So when we think about I'm telling you, something like fasting can increase your discipline, right? Because what's the number one thing you need to survive, right? Sure, air, water, food. Let's say that civilization, you need some sort of shelter, right? But you're literally going to your almost the primary source that you have in your being. You're denying yourself. And like I said, those tend to carry over into other areas, right? And it's not about punishing yourself, but it's about using these tools in your toolbox to get the outcome that you want, right? And something like fasting really does a lot more than what people say on the surface, right? People think, it's just a random thing. It doesn't help you at all. Trust me. Now, if you want specific detail into fasting, diet, how you can optimize to cure your corn addiction, the corn-induced dysfunctions, the ED, man, click the link down below and you'll get some help there. Click the link. Number 3, lust is never satisfied, right? This is important because a lot of people tend to think, and it's just human nature, right? Whenever we consume something, we have this infinite really need for consumption, right? Whether that's, think about how many times you've watched YouTube videos on your phone, right? It's probably been thousands and thousands of different videos you've watched. And what you realize is maybe you can go some time without it, right? But then let's say you go back to it, right? And you get that dopamine rush. It feels good. And you realize that there is no limit. It's the same thing with eating. If we eat junk food, sweets, all these different things, right? You constantly crave that, right? Over and over again. And this is one of those areas that doesn't matter how much you get, how much corn you watch, right? How much anything, right? It will never be enough for you. And that's how they really monetize off of you, right? Because they look at you and they see that you have this innate desire to, obviously it's coming from reproduction, but at the end of the day, they exploit you and your brain chemistry. And what they do is they feed you all of these different things so that they can keep you hooked, right? Have you buying subscriptions, all this type of stuff. So you can lose financially, you can lose your time, attention, right? Relationships, all these different things because you can't really find that thing that works for you, right? You've tried a million different things and the trial and error is just not it, right? Listen to someone who has been in your position. So remember, it is never satisfied, right? And every time you feed the cycle, it only gets stronger. So that's how you have to look at it, right? With the corn, right? The more that you feed, the stronger that it gets, right? And what's interesting is you have to realize that a lot of the temptations that you're seeing are also self-induced, right? If you just take a peek at something, I guarantee your temptations are going to be 10 times as stronger as if you were just chilling, watching your eye gates, not even paying attention to what's going on, maybe on IG or on the dating apps. So keep that in mind. It's an infinite, really, yearning that you're going to have, right? And the stronger that you do that, the more you lean into it, it's going to be that much harder. But when you stop feeding the cycle, that's when you can make real change. Point number 4, environment is greater than willpower, right? So when we talk about environment is one of the most important things because we want to make this as easy as possible for you to win, right? That's the entire goal. Why would you want to make things more difficult, right? So a lot of people, even like I mentioned earlier, when you have something like your phone, you're on social media, you're on dating apps, you're all these other things, you're literally making it more difficult for you to succeed and for you to win, right? You're literally showing yourself, exposing yourself to more triggers, right? And a lot of you, it's probably social media that really causes that, right? But you have these different triggers that are literally putting you in a worse position. You're not becoming the man that you want to be. You're not reaching your full potential. You're just stuck in the same place over and over again, right? But to get a different result, you have to change things, right? You have to actually try to implement something, right? So what you want to do again is try to do things like curate your social media, right? Cut off whatever access it is, right? Just try to make it a little bit more difficult for you to do. Curate that environment so you don't even have to think about it. It's just automatic. Maybe you take a break from the Instagram, right? It's just automatic. You load up your phone and it's not even there. It's not even a thing anymore, right? And that's, again, training wheels, because eventually you want to get to the point to where you're able to be on there and it doesn't affect you at all. But one step at a time, right? One step at a time. Because willpower, again, is finite, right? It's going to run out eventually. So make an environment easy for you to win, right? Make it as easy as possible for you to win. Point number 5, replacement is greater than a restriction, right? So simply not doing it never lasts, right? You always have to have some sort of replacement with your time. And if you're watching this, you're probably an ambitious guy that has some type of goal that he wants in his life, right? And I always say money is a big one because, everyone needs money to live, right? You have to have some sort of finances, probably that you're striving for, to be able to live the life that you want to live, right? And even something as simple as getting in shape, right? you can literally use these things to your advantage. Say, I'm the type of person that, gets in shape. I use the energy that I have, instead of just wasting it on myself, to go and really put in work in the gym, right? Get shredded, get the six pack, right? And then boom, you combine that with eating healthy, right? And then you find a high leverage skill to make money as well. And think about the man that you're becoming. That's someone that a family can depend on, right? You're literally becoming a man of his word, someone that people can trust, and that he can trust himself, because he guarantees and sticks to the plan that he makes for himself, and he's a man of his word, right? So these are powerful replacements that literally have real world impact, because you'll see the changes in your life. Now, if you want some help, click the link in the description down below. And if you like these type of videos, watch this video on the screen to learn more.